Hello, everybody. Welcome to My Weekly Meltdown's first show about the new season of Celebrity Big Brother 3. I can't believe we're here again. We didn't know if we were going to get another season of Celebrity Big Brother, but the BB gods have blessed us, and here we are. I have an all-star panel here for this all-star cast, because let's be honest, I don't know,
Time out. It's not that we're all stars. We're just a bunch of celebrities. That's
true. Yes, we are internet famous to the 200 people that watch us. So to that I say thank you. So with us tonight, Beth is always here. How are you doing, Beth?
I'm excited. I'm in the top left spot. I'm in Allison's spot. I have a lot to live up to tonight.
I'll explain the order of the panels here, if you will.
No,
it's intentional.
All we need to know is that Beth has effectively taken over Allison's spot. That's what it is.
I don't know how I feel about that.
If you want to wear that crown, go ahead.
Yeah, you can have it.
The side eye.
How many cats are going to pop up on your screen tonight, Beth?
Oh my God.
If multiple cats pop up in my stream, first of all, I will be happy. Second of all, I will be confused as 0 currently live with me, but they will live with me after they pop up. So,
and in true Allison fashion, it would fall from the ceiling too. So you're like, where did this cat just come from?
Yeah.
And you're only
Amazon
allowed
packages
to
are going to be delivered.
You're only allowed to use Tennessee slang for the rest of the night. So,
well, I can't even. I don't even know that.
You just need to say,
3 years
let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something here.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Okay, then I'll take that. Oh, thank you so much to Kylan Pierre in the chat who just donated $5 to my weekly meltdown. Thank you so much, Kylan. Put some hype and some love and some thanks in the chat if you were watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. Tyler, why don't you continue introducing our guests, and then we can say hi to the rest of the chat.
Yeah, so to continue the hype, we have with us our friend and patron, Matt Henning. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing all right. I should be referred to as the reigning, defending, undisputed champion.
Yes, you had a really good team for Survivor 41, and you deserve all of that acknowledgement for sure.
I know, because I had the most amazing team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did.
You did, actually.
You had Erica
Andrew, just because I didn't have any blonde women on my team, Survivor 41 does not make my team.
I'll wait for my introduction.
And then last but certainly not least, with us is Andrew, the hustler. How are you doing, Andrew?
You got to remember, Matt, we're in a Big Brother game, and the reigning champion of the Big Brother draft is sitting right here.
Yes, but you have no blondes to pick from, so you're.
It's okay.
Oh, no, you have one. There's
I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't got no blondes to pick from.
You have one. You have
Carson?
one fully blonde.
Carson Cressley is in this cast.
Who knows what color?
You were going to have to fight me for Carson, by the way. Drag race.
Yes.
I have to have Carson.
So before we get into all the rules for the draft and everything, I want to say hi to the people in chat. So we have Romero, Dolores, Jameson, David, Caitlin Weaver,
Dave Young.
Kyle.
You did say David. Sorry.
Yep. Adrian. So many friends here with us tonight. So thank you guys for joining on this Saturday night. I hope everybody is staying safe in the nor'easter blizzard going on right now. So, okay. So
in New York City a few hours ago, and so to that I say it's safe to go back out, New Yorkers. Come on.
Yeah. I was just outside walking my dog, and it was
I went for
cold.
a 20-minute walk on the slushy sidewalks, and I was like, "This feels like home." and the amount of people who were like, "I can't handle this," I was like, "You live in New York City."
That's literally me though.
In Texas, we could have one flake fall, and the entire state is shut down.
True. Yeah.
Happy birthday to Sam in the chat. Officially 18 today.
Oh, happy birthday, Sam!
Happy
Sam,
birthday!
Happy birthday, Sam!
Okay, so I slid in Matt's DMs earlier. I said, "Listen, as the reigning champ of the draft, I want you to give us the order of who is going to go tonight."
Oh, I'm screwed.
So the order of the panels tonight is the order that Matt picked. So it goes Beth, Matt, myself, and then Andrew, and it's going to go snake style. So Andrew, you will then go again me, Matt, Beth. So we'll go until we have 12 picks.
I was in this same slot for the Big Brother draft, so I'm good.
Okay, perfect. There you go.
That's true. You were.
No, you might get stuck with nothing.
Yeah, who knows? Well,
that back-to-back thing though is powerful. You get like the fourth best and you get like the top of the middle picks, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we say best. Tyler, he normally screws that up somehow.
Right. So a lot of you are wondering, like, wait, there's only 11 house guests. Like, what's going on? So, on Twitter, there's been a lot of rumblings. There's 12 place settings at the table, 12 chairs, 12 beds. There are some signs pointing to 12 house guests instead of 11.
Can I give you guys my theory after you're done explaining this about who this 12th person is? You continue on first, but this is important.
But so like I've been wondering like who is like the big like get of this cast compared to like Omarosa and then like Scaramucci. It doesn't have to be like political, but like like the big like what's gonna happen name. Like I feel like that's like missing from this cast. So maybe they're holding out on us for another house guest, maybe not. But just to make it even for everybody, I've actually added a 12th like question mark house guest. Ooh. So at any point in the draft, if you want to take this like potential of a new house guest or not, totally up to you. If the season starts and that person joins, you will get that person instead of the question mark, of course. But if it is 11, you are down somebody already. So some big risk, big reward, maybe. Who knows?
Well, let's be honest. We know who the 12th person will be. Clearly, the producers and casting were so inspired by My Weekly Meltdown's Brant Steele that they watched and they went, "Oh my gosh, Jennifer Coolidge, what a queen!"
Yeah, comp queen, 5
100%. And if it's not her, they 100% went with Michael Myers.
Definitely. They're just trying to ask him if he's vaccinated or not, and he won't answer the question.
He just goes,
yeah, I agree with Caitlin. Guys, Allison's not here.
That's true. Like she said she couldn't be here tonight. It was a little last minute, but
something about taking a flight to California. I don't know. Yeah. It was really weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tyler, before we get into the draft, can we talk briefly? The house is gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, the house looks like A++. Like, I actually feel like to talk about BB Can again, there's some rooms that remind me a lot of like BB Can style. Especially there's like a steampunk room that looks really cool.
We made it 11 minutes before we mentioned it. That's not
not crazy, but yeah, I love the house. How do you guys feel about the spiral staircase going away? That's new.
I'm fine with it.
I'm okay with that. The HOH room.
Staircase is a staircase.
The HOH room is probably one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, it looks really good.
That they what they did with the ceiling, getting rid of the black mold. That was
that's always
that was great.
So that's all I wanted to say. I think the house itself looks really, really good.
It's good. And I so want the is it Mira? I want Mira Mira. I forgot how to say her name. I so apologize if I'm butchering it, but I want her to be in that HOH room just to complete the figure skater like fantasy.
So yeah,
that would be cool.
So you can live the fantasy. So the fantasy will be lived.
I totally agree with Icky Booley in my Twitch chat who said spiral staircases are terrifying. So for my own sanity, A+, same. The amount of times I'm like, you know what? I can't play Big Brother because there's a spiral staircase. And God knows I'd be winning HOH all the time. So just kidding. I'd have to go up there a lot. It'd just be scary.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Mira, I would bet on. I would bet on you to win some comps, Beth. I think don't sell yourself short there. But yeah, I guess like
Beth would win all of the luck competitions.
There you go.
Hey.
But I guess like before we get into it, how are we feeling about like the cast in general? I've already kind of said that like I don't really know a lot of the people on this cast. Like so I feel like I'm pretty thumbs down on it. But what do you guys think?
Henning, why don't you start?
I mean, the first thing is everyone needs to like take their expectations down because everyone seemed to be on Twitter being like, "Where are the like major celebrities? This is Celebrity Big Brother. You're not getting A, B, maybe even C-listers to do this."
But there are.
I think there's some decent, well-known names on the list, depending upon communities. But I think it's a good mix. A good mix of personalities and people.
Yeah.
And abilities.
Absolutely.
Andrew, what do you think?
Okay, so I don't think it's horrible, but I don't think CBS did themselves any justice with the Clue video that Julie put out literally 3 hours before the cast dropped, because I think it hinted towards people that were bigger than existed, right?
Yes.
Like to think we're getting Lance Bass and to get Chris Kirkpatrick, nothing against Chris, but like we know Lance is this super fan and we know all of this. And to hear an SNL with many lives, I saw a theory of Tracy Morgan, and I thought that was fantastic because he's just survived that accident, right? And staying alive. To see that where I thought like Tyler, when they said figure skater, we went Tanya Harding, right?
I thought Tanya Harding, and I was so excited about that.
Oh, see, I went the opposite route because I was thinking of Adam Rapon because he's the last U.S. medalist.
Oh, yeah.
From back in Sochi.
So I don't think the cast is bad, but I think that 3-hour hint set up to make us think that we had a little bit of bigger names than we actually get come through later did not help the expectation versus reality component that we got when we got the cast. So I think that was a bad idea, especially when it was like, when she posted that, I'm like, okay, we're getting the cast the next day, maybe 2 days from now. That video went up and the cast was out 3 hours later. Like, it made no sense.
What was the point? Yeah, exactly. I kind of just generally feel like somebody pointed this out in the chat as well. This is a very interconnected mix of people too, which is going to be really interesting to watch. We've seen some people have history. A few of these people know many people on this cast or have worked in them in some capacity. And that's why I can't wait to see what happens here. Like, I have like that RuPaul gif, like, I can't wait to see what happens with like the little opera glasses.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be really interesting. And there's a few dynamics here that I'm surprised people aren't talking about a lot. With like Shanna Moakler and Lamar Odom, they're just going to be bashing the Kardashians. Like, this is going to be insane. Like, this is feeds goodness. I don't give a shit about the game as much as I'm like, okay, so Travis Barker, your ex, Shanna, is now with Courtney, and you've got like
that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like minor interconnections here and there, and I think that's what will make this season, I think, better than expected.
Yeah,
I think I think if people are going in with like super disappointed because they were expecting, like Andrew said, different people based off those clues. But I think if they give it a chance, you'll get it. I think we'll get a good season out of it.
And not just the clues, the hype before the clues. Because a lot of the things that were mentioned in the hype are not in this cast, right? Like, I mean, Todrick is the only one that I really think that was kind of hyped before. That's actually here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think ultimately what we're going to see is just there's going to be a lot of that like political niceness of like what you do at like in whatever industry that you're in. But then I can't wait to see like in week 2 how like, the guards fall a little bit. And that's what I'm looking forward to. We started to see some of that with the first Celebrity Big Brother a few years ago, where we had those really interesting conversations like Omarosa and Ross Matthews.
Yeah.
And you had some of those things. And of course, a lot of that was for like, let me get in the news and that kind of stuff. But I think that some of this stuff could be really interesting. And Gregory Cooley in the chat says Lamar has a great relationship with the Kardashians. And I understand that. I'm just saying that like, that's a pretty big, that's like America's reality family. And so you have 2 people who have dated a Kardashian or like have or not. No, actually Shanna hasn't dated.
I'm also waiting to see who stabs who in the back first, Todrick or Carson. And how that carries over to the RuPaul's Drag Race set where they have
you better
work
believe
together.
Drag Race has a lot what I've seen a lot of. Mirai was a guest judge, I think, on a Sabe episode that if I recall correctly, that Carson was on as a judge. So I think that because for those that don't know, in the modern seasons, Carson Cressley and Ross Matthews switch off every other week. So like the week that Ross Matthews is on, Carson Cressley is not a judge, and then the next week he will be. So I think there's just some small little interconnected things. Plus Carson's been on like every reality show ever. So
true.
Yeah, really. It's like name me a reality show Carson hasn't been on lately.
Yeah.
So
he's just crossing off the list. But all right. So as I alluded to, Matt has picked the order for the draft. And Beth, you are first. So go ahead and give us your first pick here.
Okay, so I joked about Carson earlier that I really wanted him. I have already drafted him twice, so I think I'm going to switch things up here and try to go for somebody else that I haven't drafted yet. And I am gonna draft Mirai. I think that we have the youngest person in the cast at 23. Everybody else, I think like the average age is like 48 or something on this cast. And so she's 23. She was an Olympic bronze medalist at not Sochi Games. Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago comparatively. What was the one in 2018?
I have no idea.
The Sochi Games.
What?
I'm pretty sure that was Sochi.
Sochi was 2014. And I'm trying to remember what that one was. But regardless, it was South Korea. It was South Korea. That's what it was.
Seoul. That was Seoul.
So she was there, and
thing. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't the.
But just the way that she's answered a lot of her questions about what she is. She's 28. It says she's 23 on multiple websites.
I'll check her profile on the.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, she's 28.
Wow. Okay. So this is a misprint on these two websites I'm looking at then. Okay, cool. So, so she, regardless, I like some of her answers. I think that she's somebody who obviously knows competition. I think that she's going to be really hard to beat in like endurance competitions, but I also think she has like a sweet demeanor. She's somebody I think that's going to be social. I don't think people are going to be too afraid of her. I think they're going to want to work with her and gravitate towards her. So I think that she's going to be incredible to watch. And so I'm really excited about that.
And also from what I've heard, she's a pretty good like fan of the show Big Brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also I feel like her body type and just like her overall athleticism probably will lend itself very well to endurance competitions in Big Brother. So I could see her winning HOH a few times as well. So This was actually my number one pick as well.
Sorry.
It was also my number one pick.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I knew I was taking a risk letting Beth go first, but I was like, ladies should go first.
Oh.
Yeah, so I thought she would still be on the board by the time it got to me. So
no, she was coming off the board with me because as a figure skater, you have to, as an Olympic level figure skater, you're competing in front of the entire world. Mm-hmm. So she knows what it's like to potentially have the whole entire world watching her.
That's true.
In this case, they'll be watching her day-to-day life if they're watching the live feeds, and I think that will keep her from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where some of these people will definitely do something stupid.
Yeah.
And I think her flexibility as a figure skater will come in handy in some of these competitions where you just have to like stay limber. If they do like a wall competition, she could probably shake a leg out and still be on the wall.
Well, also her size too. When you have a core strength like her and you're shorter, something like a wall comp is to your advantage. When you have a lower center of gravity. So I agree with that assessment. Andrew, do you have any thoughts on Mirai?
Well, I will say that because she's not blonde, she was not going to be my first pick. But
shocker.
No, so we're talking about the physical prowess of her, but I want to take that one step further. I think she's got the relatability factor, right? Okay. I feel like her connection, even though it might not be like, oh my God, we're connected by this person and this person, you've got like the UFC fighter who you're connected with from the athlete status. You've got that with Lamar Odom. You've got the super fan status that you can kind of talk to with a couple of different people here. And that's what's so beautiful to me about like an Olympic athlete versus another athlete is one, they're not as mainstream. And so they're not like as known in that. And in Celebrity Big Brother, we've seen those people maybe not win, but do really well. Who was the Miss US pageant that Steve Harvey mispronounced her name in season 1?
Yeah.
I
know who you're talking about.
I know
just kind of relied on this relatability. I'm known, but I'm not really, really known. And so yes, I see her challenge aspect coming through, but to me, I see more of just this relatability factor that she brings to the table that's going to help her get far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So Matt, let's hear your first pick.
Well, since my first pick is off the board, I will have to go with what I would have picked second. And sorry, Andrew, I'm taking one of your blondes away. I am taking Carson Cressley.
Good call.
All right, so Matt, give us the scoop on Carson.
He's been on pretty much every reality show lately. He's also one of the most liked people out there. Like when people talk about him as a person, everyone seems to say he's very likable. What you see is what you get. I think he's someone who can travel all of these worlds because he is a competitive horseback rider. So I think he can kind of maybe intermingle with the athletes. Obviously, his vibrant queer personality will appeal to a bunch of these other people. I think he definitely has the space where he could fit in that middle ground and make a big push. And I think he would love nothing more than to rub it in Ross Matthews' face that he won Celebrity Big Brother and Ross did not. True. And that would be highly entertaining to me. So that is why he's on my team.
Can I interject real quick here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way in hell. He's gonna be. I was not gonna pick him. He's going to be another Ross Matthews type thing. And what I think that a lot of us are forgetting is these celebrities don't get sequestered when they get voted out, right? And Carson's gonna be messy. And the messiness is going to hurt him in the jury phase of this. And I see if he makes the end, he will be another Ross and he will be second place.
I agree with that to a certain extent. I think that he has the potential to be a messy person. But the one thing about him is that in the times that he's been messy, he still has this affable charm about him in his messiness. He has this quick wit that people kind of easily forgive him in the moment. Like he is, in my opinion, he's like one of the only funny judges on RuPaul's Drag Race because he's actually coming up with his own jokes rather than everybody else who's getting them written for them. And I mean, it's true. RuPaul, think RuPaul's writing that shit? RuPaul's only writing the stuff is like, my coffee enema just kicked in. Yeah, we know you wrote that, RuPaul.
That's a RuPaul joke.
That's a RuPaul joke. But he and Ross Matthews are the only two people who actually do the off the cuff stuff most of the time. And I think that what I like about him is that he has a history of telling people the truth to their face, but doing it with a smile and making them feel good about it. And he does it with a well-crafted read sometimes. And I don't see him being so malicious that it's a completely different person behind closed doors with them on the camera side. So I agree with you to that certain extent. I think it's going to get messy, but I don't think people are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to give you my vote because of it. I think if anything, as long as he continues to be kind of like who we have seen, I think that he'll get the votes he needs.
I think it's really going to come down to what does Carson want to be known for on Celebrity Big Brother? Somebody who has been on so many reality shows, he's going to be self-producing a little bit. So I think that all three of you guys are right in the sense that he could be really messy if that's what he wants to be, or he could be a little bit more social if that's what he wants to be. I feel like he's going to be very self-aware. He's not going to be one that's going to ever forget that the cameras are watching, right? And that could be for the good. Maybe he'll talk to the feeds, or maybe he will be a hot mess. Two positive things are that he is well connected in the RuPaul universe, which has a lot of connections here on this cast. So I feel like he'll have a lot of people to reach out for at first. And also I feel like Ross Matthews has definitely trained him a little bit before going in here. So those are two things working in my favor here. But I don't know. We'll see.
The other thing that I just want to quickly say about him that I think is interesting based off of what he has said preseason is that he doesn't want to work with people he knows. He wants to forge new relationships. So he might appear like he's working with the Todricks of the world who he's been a judge with on Drag Race, or he might go but have true alliances elsewhere. I don't know where he's going to go. And I think that's what's going to make him interesting to watch.
Yeah. All right, so it's my turn for my pick. So I'm going to go with, I feel like I see a lot of people on Twitter saying that they think that this person might win. I'm going to go with Kirkpatrick.
NSYNC.
So I'm gonna go with Chris just because I feel like he's when everybody thinks of NSYNC, like they don't think of him first or even second. And I think that that's kind of like the role that he'll be playing in this house is like a little more under the radar. I feel like he'll be like very approachable, very funny, like never like the source of conflict, if that makes sense. So I just feel like he's going to get on everybody's good side. Lance Bass is like a huge fan of Big Brother as well, so I feel like he probably went to his old NSYNC friend as well to get some advice on how to play this game and everything. And I feel like Lance would give him some good advice in how to play. So I hope that he plays like the more jokester best friend that wins everybody over in the end. I feel like that's the vibe I get from him. So I feel pretty safe that he's going to go pretty far. That's what I want to go for in my first pick is like who's like a safe bet to like really at least get there. So that's why I pick Chris.
I think it's a good pick. I've got two thoughts on Chris. One, every time someone leaves, he better go bye bye bye. And two, ever since I saw his name, all I can think about, and the crazy part is, okay, so what a lot of people don't know about me, I am Eminem's #1 super fan.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I love some Eminem, some Slim Shady. Since I was little, me and my mom used to like, that was just my guy. And all I've thought about is Without Me, when he said, Kirkpatrick, you can get your ass kicked. Worst in the middle. Like, that's all I've thought about. He quotes him in one of the songs. And I never put two and two together that this was this Chris until right now. Cast in Celebrity Big Brother. So because Eminem told him he could get his ass kicked, I am going to go against Chris this season of Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay. Well, I was the 9-year-old girl in boxers and training bras with my other, girlfriends, pretending to be the Spice Girls, but also dating NSYNC members and such in 4th grade. So this is such a sentimental pick for me. I genuinely feel like everything that you said, Tyler, was legitimate. I kind of feel like I'm interested to see if he like plays the game or if he's just kind of, I feel like he might just coast along.
Yeah. And that's my only fear is exactly that scenario, Beth.
Yeah. David King in the chat says, I think he's going to be an outcast. I don't think so. I mean, you have people like Todrick who have looked up to him. You have people like Carson who knows Lance Bass really well. The NSYNC group chat is alive and well. They chat like all the time. That he's made these like circuits around. And I have to say, for the exception of the fact that we're 20 years removed since he was like one of the biggest like this would have been the largest name on the cast 100%. You know what I mean? So this is a really interesting pick for Celebrity Big Brother. I also thought it would be Lance Bass, but people never liked Chris as much, and honestly I think it was just a shallow thing that you had the likes of like Lance Bass and JC Chazaz and Justin Timberlake, everyone, and then everyone like made fun of Joey Fatone's last name, but then it was just like, and then there's Chris. And I hope that he kind of redeems that here because I always liked him. He is one of my favorite voices in NSYNC.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think?
I think because he is probably the least well-known member of NSYNC, even though he plays the voice of an animated character, that I don't think anyone actually knew he was the voice
Chip Skylark
of said animated character. I'm afraid he might be too under the radar to the point where he's not going like. I think there are going to be people who want to hear stories from him in like the first couple days. Like tell me NSYNC stories, of the people who know.
Yeah.
I think he's gone by week 2 or 3.
Okay.
I think he goes farther than that, but I think it's literally just kind of like let's just get Chris out kind of thing. Like, I don't think
maybe a double eviction.
Yeah.
The reason I say week 2 or 3 is because I think he will, by that time, he could be on the block against someone who is more connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's when it will, it'll buzz out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could also see him being the ultimate pawn.
100%.
Gosh. Don't make me regret my pick here, guys.
I could see that though. He is a fan of Big Brother. I mean, even though he cited Mickey as one of his favorite people, he also stated that he really liked Ian's gameplay.
But to be fair, he said Mickey was only one of his favorite people because he's from the same city.
Yeah, they're from what, Nashville?
And it didn't sound like he was like, I like him because of his strategy. It's this, he was a homer. I'm a homer.
But when he did talk about players that he liked in terms of gameplay, Ian came up. And so I feel like if you're a celebrity Big Brother person who names Ian, I have to give you a little bit more faith in what you're going to think strategy-wise.
Didn't he also name drop Derek X as well in one of his interviews?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
We're missing the biggest name drop of all, and that was when he name dropped himself as a cast member of Sharknado 3.
How could we forget?
Yeah, the award-winning. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm feeling lukewarm about my first pick now, but maybe that's how everybody needs to feel. So he's under the radar and has like an aggressive HOH at the end game. I don't know. We'll see.
If he gets first HOH, that could be a doomsday thing for him. I think he's got to not. I think he has to get like.
Yeah.
If he can get past week 3, I have high hopes for him.
Yeah.
But if he wins one of the first 2 HOHs, he's gone the following week.
Yeah. All right. So Andrew, give us your first of 2 picks, and
so I want to set this up for a minute. This is not my pick, but I came in with a strategy. I came in with a plan, and I'm not gonna lie, Tyler, you threw that all off the hinges when you introduced this mystery card. And the reason that you threw this off the hinges for me is I started thinking as we were talking about this. Beth is like, what is he about to say?
No, I'm laughing because in the chat they're all going, well, she's getting shit on Mokler.
And I go back to something that happened about a year ago. And that was Robin Cass was no longer casting for Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Is she the 12th house guest? And this is making me a little considering taking this mystery card. But since
to show out the protection of Allison
Andrew's musical genealogy, and I feel like I'm going to have music kind of move my picks tonight. My favorite artist of all time, besides Eminem, is Britney Spears. And the person I am going to pick has done the greatest rendition of a Britney Spears mashup to Beauty and the Beast that I have ever seen in my whole entire life. And I am going to go with who I think will either be the first boot or the winner of Celebrity Big Brother 3, Todrick Hall.
Excellent pick. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So why Todrick, Andrew?
One thing I want to talk about is when we have mentioned every single person so far, Todrick's name has come up, right? Like every single person that we have spoke of tonight in some form or fashion, Todrick has been mentioned. And I feel like that will be consistent as we go throughout the draft. I think Todrick comes in with the most pre-existings in this cast so far. And he's a super fan, and he just came off of hosting the last season of Big Brother's after party at his house. I feel like he's going to have the most knowledge. I feel like he's going to have the most connections. And like I said, it's either going to be Frenchie bad or Xavier good, and that will all be told in the first week.
Here's my take on Todrick, because I love him as a person. I definitely am leaning towards he's gonna be a first or second boot, because he's gonna make too many promises to people and it's eventually gonna catch him because he's so interconnected. I think he is very likely to overextend himself, and I think people are going to remember he almost won The Masked Singer. He was the runner-up on this past season of The Masked Singer. He's out there. He was just with the Big Brother people. I think everything he's done lately could be to his detriment, because I think he's walking in there with some of these other people with a huge ass target.
Where do we go?
Sorry about that. Sorry.
You have been evicted. Goodbye.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, so I'm kind of leaning more towards Matthew. Like it's like yes, they we're all like mentioning Todrick as a connection, but like we've all seen it so many times when you go into the Big Brother house, like you do too good of a job making friends that like once you get power, like it all crumbles. And I feel like Todrick is going to be a little power hungry, being such a big fan. Like he's not going to be able to throw a competition. He's anytime he loses, he'll go into the diary room after and say he's throwing it. But I don't see him like truly ever throwing a comp and giving it like 110%. So I feel like I feel like he's going to have like a really good beginning to the game, almost like in season 1 of Celebrity Big Brother, Shannon, what's her face?
Elizabeth.
Yeah, Shannon. You know how like everybody was like, she's gonna be like the best Big Brother player ever.
Bennett.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like I feel like it's gonna kind of go that way for Todrick.
I really like Todrick Hall as an artist. I think that Todrick has one of my favorite visual albums of all time, which is Forbidden, and I think his talent is incredible. What is worrying is that a lot of people in the past year and a half have come out and talked about what a fucking monster he is. He doesn't pay his dancers. He doesn't do these things. So I hope he wins so he fucking pays his dancers. So that'd be nice.
I wanted to say that. So thank you, Beth.
My worry for him is, and I don't think that that's going to come out in the first few weeks or anything, right? But I can see how power could easily make him like play too hard or whatever that kind of thing could be. And who knows too, I'm just to be serious. I mean, we are talking about someone who has really worked hard, who is, went to the same high school as Pentatonics, knew them. He was older than them, but he knew who they were and kind of like helped mentor them as well. He has really owned the idea of how you network within the entertainment industry and move yourself forward. And the fact that he's like, he considers himself best friends with Taylor Swift. I don't know if she considers him best friends. I don't know. That's them. But there's no denying he knows how to network with people. So I think he could be really good at this game. I think that question, like we're saying, is what is he like when he has power? Does he overplay it? What happens here? And I really hope that this gives him a platform with which to set records straight about who he is, because we are talking about a Black queer man who very easily could be targeted for who knows what. And so some of the rumors that we've heard, some of the blind items that we've read, maybe they're not true. And if they are true, maybe this gives him a chance to kind of redeem himself, So I'm looking forward to that, because I really think he's a true talent, and I think he deserves the platform.
Yeah, and I talked about my musical connection with him. Also, one of my favorite reality TV shows besides Big Brother is Dance Moms, and he has been connected to Dance Moms also. So he is near and dear to my heart.
And he was on American Idol.
Yeah, and with an original song that is a bop, right? Like it is an incredible song that I have sung on multiple occasions. Are we ready to move on to my second pick?
Yes, please.
I think so. Go ahead, Andrew.
Moving on down my path of musical inspiration that is coming up with my draft for today. My favorite musical of all time, besides Hamilton, which my wife bought me tickets for my birthday, and I'm finally going to be in the room where it happens.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Is Avenue Q.
I love Avenue Q.
And in Avenue Q, there is a character that is basically inspired by a TV show from Different Strokes. And because of that, my next pick will be Todd Bridges.
I'm loving the many obstacles of your mind of how they connect to music, and I'm here for it. I'm loving this. Todd Bridges is also, I think, a great pick.
You know, I went away from the female of the blondes. I went away from everything, and I'm going more to my musical heritage, my music inspiration, and that has been the creation of Team Andrew so far. And I'm here for it. I think Todd Bridges is going to be probably for a group of celebrities that is a acting or that he's going to be known by more people in that house than he probably is known by people outside of that house, right?
His fan base is purely in the house.
The 10 people that are surrounding him.
The backhanded compliment of that is...
You know, and this is the beauty of Celebrity Big Brother for me, is it's more fun than the real one, right? Like these things, these conversations you don't have on a regular season. But I feel like that, and I feel like he's just going to be that old kind of relatable guy, but he's not looking like that old kind of relatable guy. And I think that could come off very, very great. I do think he can kind of be a Chris Kirkpatrick that's going to kind of slide on through a whole lot. So we're going to have to see some names come up. But I'm actually really excited to see this guy play.
Yeah.
I don't really have any thoughts either way. I just know that, like, on the premiere next week, we're gonna see him say in the diary room, "What you talking about, Julie?" Like, that's coming.
I can't wait.
This is one of Allison's winner picks, actually, is Todd Bridges. So we'll see how he does. Matt,
you're doomed, Andrew. You're fully doomed now. If you and Allison are agreeing with each other, you're doomed.
Hold on. I'm in Allison's spot. Now, let me just say something here first. I have won more drafts than many of y'all have. There, okay. Was that good enough?
Well, but Allison was alive when he was on TV, so that makes sense.
True. Matt, what do you think about Todd Bridges here?
I'm gonna turn my air on. I'll be right back.
It's one of those. Like he doesn't scream like I'm going to push the action. He doesn't scream I'm going to irritate the fuck out of everyone. I just don't know what his place in the narrative will be.
Yeah.
He's someone I will need to see a week or two of, and then I would have a better idea.
Yeah,
otherwise, I think
like
he's
a Joey Lawrence type of character. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that he's going to have a little bit more handle on the game than Joey Lawrence did, though. I mean, remember Joey Lawrence was like, I don't have an alliance. I don't want an alliance. Like, I don't feel like Todd is going to be like that.
Okay, that's true.
Somebody in the chat said you could see him being like a Ricky Williams. Adrian Celeste says that, and I agree 100% with that assessment. And that I think that he's going to just be like someone that people really like in the beginning of the game, that they're just kind of chatting with him, and then he becomes a more serious gamer as it continues on, right? And I think he's got a lot of positives going for him. I also feel like we have a few really big personalities who we haven't discussed yet, who he could just kind of be like, let them throw bombs at each other, and I could just fade in the background and be when you live in a house like that, you want to keep the good energy near you, right? So I feel like he's good energy.
Yeah. All right. So
Deb says Joey Lawrence was a whack job.
Hi, Deb.
Hey, Deb. Hope you're doing well.
All right. So my next pick is going to be Cynthia Bailey.
I think that's a great pick, actually.
So, so I just feel like I kind of want to like balance out my team here. So I feel like Chris could be like floater type of winner. I feel like Cynthia could play like a more out in front, like aggressive type of gameplay. To be fully transparent, I haven't watched her seasons of Housewives or anything like that. But so I asked my partner, like, what do you think of Cynthia Bailey? And he was like, she's going to be pretty good feeds, and I could see her being like a very social person. I think she's best known for like making like a contract that she made her best friend sign, saying that we're going to continue being best friends, and if I die, like, you can't unfollow me, like things like that. Mm-hmm. So she's willing to put some rules on her alliances, her relationships. So hopefully she does that just as serious in the Big Brother house. And I love her headshot here as well. I think she's beautiful. So Cynthia Bailey is my next pick. What do you guys think?
So speaking of headshots, I'm really upset that they got rid of the MySpace pictures from BB
23,
and we went back.
Oh my god!
That we went back to professional headshots. Like that really upset me because I think we could have had some great MySpace pictures.
Well, some of them are good. Like look at Carson's compared to Mirai's. Like hers looks like an iPhone selfie compared to like this like professional lighting that Carson has. So
my comparison to this, and especially I'd done the research. I'd seen kind of the contract thing. I've seen that. I'm gonna say it this time, and this is for Tyler. I get Eika vibes.
Okay. Ooh. Eika season 2 or season 5?
Both combined.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I haven't watched Big B Can, but I've seen clips. I've seen the check. I've seen that kind of stuff. I know housewives are very loud, and from just little clips I've watched here, I kind of get a little. She's smart. This girl is smart, and I get very kind of Eika vibes from her. So I'm excited for that.
I'll go on the record, Andrew. I don't think I've said this on a podcast on air, but like I spend a lot of time thinking about how Eika Wong is like one of the best cast reality TV people of all time. She brings the drama. She's smart. She's beautiful. She is so confrontational. So like if Cynthia Bailey is all of these things, then I will go down with that ship, even if she does not win. That makes me very excited to hear her compared to the great Eika Wong.
She reminds so she's friends with Kandi Burress because they were both in Atlanta together, and which tells me she's gotten good coaching to a certain extent. You know, I think that she's going to be a more assertive player than Kandi was. I think Kandi spent so much of her season being like working on a personal relationship with Tamar that like that really flunked her gameplay. And I don't think Cynthia is going to have any problem, even if she knows people one-on-one. She's somebody who I think knows Carson. And I would imagine would know Teddy just because of the franchise of Housewives and such. I think that she's a good pick. She's going to be one that will not back down. And that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for the feeds. From what I understand, she's more entertaining. I don't watch Housewives though, any of the Housewives. So I could be very wrong. I've heard that Teddy is boring and they don't know why she was cast, but I've heard that Cynthia is not boring, and there we go. So I'm excited to see her.
Valencia says she's likable.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you think about Miss Cynthia Bailey?
I have also never seen any of the Real Housewives franchise, so I don't have as much of an insight on her. I always get concerned when people have someone who's connected to a previous season, especially the most immediate season, and have gotten too much potential coaching from them, because then they are more likely to be playing that person's game. And I think that could be detrimental, because people, if I'm going to take a leap and say, I'm betting they're going to know she is connected to Kandi. And so they're going to be like, oh, she might have too much insight, kind of like what Todrick is potentially going to be facing after being so publicly connected to the BB23 players in their post-season.
And then Carson with Ross.
Carson with Ross, but that's at least the full season separated.
Gotcha.
Like
okay.
The most immediate season of Celebrity Big Brother, Kandi was on. Yeah. And then the most recent season of Big Brother proper, Todrick is connected to all of them. And I think she could be a like, let me get her out so I have credit for taking her out
I see.
kind of person to somebody else.
Like the big prize to get out.
Yeah, I think she could be looked at as I'm going to get her out because she was connected to someone who did well in last season.
The resume
that'll look good on me.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Cynthia Bailey does. But Matt, let's hear your next pick. And keep in mind, we still have the question mark in play here.
The question mark can stay a question mark.
Robin Cass is still up there, guys.
I'm going to stay in my drafting history of making a pick based off hair color. I picked Spicy V and BB Can because of her pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Eika, who won because of her purple hair.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Misha Tate and her purple hair.
How did I know you were going to pick Misha? I'm sitting here going, well, I'm assuming Matt goes for the color hair, so I'm going to say that he's going to choose.
I'm taking my multicolored hair people because they've provided for me.
It's true.
Victoria provided. Eika won. Misha, as a fighter, can definitely get into heated arguments because to hype up things, you have to fight verbally as well as physically.
Yeah.
And she, if as a kind of quasi UFC fan, she has gotten into plenty of verbal spars with people. So I know she can hold her own verbally. And being in the UFC and punching people in the face for a living, you have to have some pretty good endurance. You've got to be able to do some things. And she is a former UFC bantamweight champion. She's not just the hype was top 15. She has been the woman. Mm-hmm. And that could help her here, knowing she has had the pressures of a whole entire division when the UFC was finally introducing women as allowing them to actually compete.
Mm-hmm.
Being the face of that division for a period of time.
Yeah.
And I think that could be something that could help her because she has faced lots of pressure. Now, could she easily be a first boot because she says something stupid? 110%.
Yeah, that's my fear with her.
Owning that before anyone says it. Yeah, I totally could see her flopping hard, but because she has purple hair, she's on my team, and my multicolored hair people have served me well.
There you go.
Not so fast, my friend. We go back here to everything that you just said, and we flash forward to season 1 of Celebrity Big Brother, when the first boot was everything you just said in a mixed martial art, except he had no hair, Mr. Chuck Liddell. And because of that, the threat of him was bigger than anything you just said, and she is my pick for first boot.
Oh, okay.
What about Natalie in Celebrity Big Brother 2, though? Colored hair, fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But see, colored hair is now in because my people of colored hair have done well for me.
No, I'm saying that Natalie did decent. Oh, yeah. She wasn't first boot.
Yeah, but
that was fake.
The reason I think she'll be separate from Chuck Liddell, Andrew, is I hate to say it, Chuck is always going to seem more threatening as a man than Misha will as a woman.
Oh, I'd fight Chuck before I fought Misha. She scares the crap out of me.
I mean,
yeah, but I mean, as a target,
Ronda
I think
Rousey,
people would target someone like Chuck
site.
before they would target someone like Misha.
Do we know if Misha's a fan of Big Brother? Like how much knowledge does she have coming into this?
I have no idea.
No idea. I do know that what I know about her, and I don't know much about UFC or anything like that, but I know that she and Ronda Rousey hate each other.
Oh,
like
yes.
if they see each other, like it's like a fight instantly. Like they will literally beat the living shit out of each other.
That's why the UFC, for one of their like Ultimate Fighter, like trying to find the next best like fighter to bring in, did Team Ronda versus Team Misha. Mm-hmm. So she has been a coach. She has been a personality. She's done a lot more than a lot of people have. And I think that will help her in. Even if Adrian's certain she has no knowledge going in, that could be to her benefit.
Mm-hmm. True.
So in fun fact, I was trying to Google her, and it looks like there is a different spelling, but there was a Misha Meyer that competed in Promi Big Brother, and he got second place. So Outlook says okay.
All right, there you go. Just based on name alone, so maybe I'll be as good of a player as Tyler.
Eika won with purple hair. Misha can win with purple hair.
Yeah, true. All right, so Beth, you have the next 2 picks. Ooh. So let's hear pick number 2 for you.
So you know what's interesting is I'm looking at this cast, right, and I agree with the picks that we have all chosen so far, except for maybe 1 or 2. But the 1 or 2 that I'm concerned about, like, it's a very like, the men seem way better than the women this season, and
I agree.
And I'm not that excited about that, honestly. And that's kind of a bummer. But I'm gonna go for somebody who I'm gonna have like the athletes on my team. I've got to go for Lamar Odom here. He's a very personable person. I think obviously my worry with him is that he's so tall that he might have issues with some of like endurance competition kind of stuff. We've noticed that, Meta World Peace and other people who were really tall, had that basketball player frame, struggled with some of the more physical comps because of their size. My worry with Lamar is that I have no idea because I don't follow him or anything, but I know that he has an issue of drug use and mental health issues. And I worry about him being able to like stay in the game. Like
that's a good
literally
point.
Stay in the house. Like I worry about that with him. I think, and not because I like don't think he can do it. I just worried like this is a pressure cooker. His whole life has been a pressure cooker, especially publicly when he was married to Chloe and all these different things. But I really worry about coming out in a pandemic. I don't know what he's been like, but I can say that most of us have been more depressed and more anxious than usual. I'm sure that he's gotten a lot of like his addiction and mental health issues under control, but there's also new stressors. So I worry about that. That could be completely off base. It could be completely inappropriate or mean of me to be saying that. That's just my one issue. And it comes out of a place of concern, not out of a place of judgment. I just want to clarify that.
No, I mean, like every house guest, like, should have to complete like a psych evaluation. That's what they say that they do. We don't know how true that is, a la Sam from Big Brother 20, but it's a valid concern, Beth, especially when like we have a few celebrities that tend to like quit more easy,
including his teammate.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's, for me, I understand the risk in taking him, but I do think that he is just he's a very lovely person, and I think is very personable. I think people are really going to like him. And I think that he could be kind of a silent killer in this competition. But those are my thoughts with Lamar.
Andrew, what do you think?
I think if he can find an anchor in the house, he has the potential to go far. Like if
who
he
would
can
that
find,
anchor
like,
be?
that one person to like link himself up with and have them be like, just relax, chill, and that's and that could be where Cynthia could come in, because I think both being African American, both understanding different walks of life, him being formerly married to a Kardashian, she being a reality TV star, so there's kind of connections there. Yeah, I could see those two linking up, and I could see her potentially being like, just chill, stick around, don't, like, if you're thinking of self-evicting, or like him and Todd, like if those three came together and could keep each other like grounded and balanced, that could be a very strong three-person alliance.
I could see him and Carson getting together. I think Carson would have that kind of wit to keep him grounded. And it would be like an unlikely duo kind of duo.
That's a cute alliance. I like that.
I would love that. So, because that Carson would be like, oh my gosh, I love this tall man energy on my team. Like, like that's just
he would
like
give him the Carson queer eye, kind of like makeover in every sense of the word.
It'd be so good.
So this was my next musical connection pick, Beth.
Okay.
I personally love me some gospel music. And one of my favorite songs is called Closed on Sunday by Kanye West, about how the fact that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays. Kanye dated a Kardashian. Lamar dated was married to a Kardashian. So Lamar was going to be my musical next pick. And so I'm very upset that Beth ruined my music
I'm so sorry.
part of the night. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a great pick because of what Beth said. I also am going of the mental. I'm also going to go on to say that I think he will be one of the more controversial picks because of the fact that are not picks, casts this season, because of what he just went through with Chloe and them being America's sweethearts, and that happening on multiple occasions now that they've gotten back together and had this issue. So I don't know how liked by America he is going to be.
I guarantee you he had to like sign some stuff like that's like off topic for him to bring up in the Big Brother house about the Kardashian family. I'd be curious to know what that what that is. But I don't know.
It's so interesting. Like why would casting, like if they were like didn't want him to talk about the Kardashians, put Shanna Moakler.
He could be like the like headline conversations that come on the feeds type of thing.
And that's what I think is going to be interesting. I think when you're looking at the grand scheme of this entire cast, Lamar Odom is probably the biggest name on the cast right now. He's not only because of his athleticism, but because of, such a public relationship and marriage with Khloe Kardashian. So he's accustomed to things that in privacy or whatever, but I do think like I'm just waiting. I'm sure it will come up, and I don't know if he's going to bash the Kardashians. I said that jokingly earlier. I don't think that he would. I know that he has a good relationship with them, but it will be interesting to see. Shanna Moakler's famous ex is Travis Barker, and Travis Barker's now with Kourtney. So you're going to have some of these like Kardashian conversations.
I don't know who just said it about. I think it was Tyler. It might have been Beth about how there's things in the contract that he probably can't talk about. Actually, what was written in the contract is that Kris Jenner gets to live in the control room.
She's the 12th house guest.
Cameras off of him whenever something was being discussed that she doesn't like. She has control, and she doesn't have to be in the control room. She set up the control room at her house to be able to make this happen.
She has sunglasses on, and she's just in the other half of like that HOH room area where she's just doing this all day long.
I'd like to imagine it's like Squid Game, except like her head turns around instead of like a little doll.
Is what David said true, that he has said he's looking for a showmance? Is this?
I think
people always like say this stuff in interviews. Like I always take it with like a huge grain of salt.
Here's the thing, that it's comments like that make me very nervous about choosing him. Because not just because we know showmances are like, ugh, but just because like I don't know if you want to find love in a month on the Big Brother house. Like Lamar.
One of the things I love about Celebrity Big Brother is the likelihood of a showmance is a whole lot less, right? Unless it's that Carson Cressley showmance that Beth was talking about earlier, I don't think that I am looking forward to that part of it.
If I want you to know, if that goes from an alliance to a showmance, this is the best thing we will ever see on television in our fucking lives. Imagine Lamar Odom goes from Khloe Kardashian to Carson Cressley.
I'm here for
on feeds. Celebrity Big Brother 4 will be filmed in April. They will just be like, fuck it, we're doing the next one. This is happening.
Let's get more people. Let's just keep doing it.
Oh my God. And David King says Sean is single. Could you imagine
if the two former Kardashians got that would be
for a fact, like I'm not gonna put this past Lamar. Lamar's smart. He knows that if your name's in the news, that's good things for sponsorships and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, a showmance with Shanna Moakler would be amazing.
That would be something.
Now that my eyes are scarred, Beth, go ahead and give us your next pick to round out your draft team.
I'm gonna do Shanna Moakler. I have to. Okay,
all right.
So this is somebody who I like. So my formative years, which were the 2000s, from middle school to college, often heard her name. Not because of like the pageant stuff, but because she was always like on Punk'd with Travis Barker, like getting punked there, or like they would make all these appearances and like all those like kind of like random shows, right? And so she was just kind of a name that I heard, but I never really knew too much about her. She's someone who's a reality television show veteran. as many of them are. I think that she's going to be interesting. I don't know what to expect from her, to be perfectly honest. And the only reason why I literally almost took the question mark person, but then I was like, well, why choose a question mark person when I have one right in front of me with a face that I can get? This is a question mark for me. I have often found with Celebrity Big Brother, those that I have huge question marks whether or not they do well tend to do better than I think they will. And so I'm going to give Shanna my pick here.
I don't really have any comments on her. I have no idea who she is. So if Matt or Andrew want to go.
I just want to point out the fact, and I want it to be noted in the ledger, that Beth took the first blonde female this season, not me.
I did. Actually,
okay.
Yeah, I did. And this should be not just a footnote. This should be the title of the podcast moving forward.
That's what I want to be put out. I don't have a whole lot to say about her. I think it's a good pick. I think she's going to have some kind of go not too big. I keep saying under the radar, but I don't really know until that. But I have heard that, and that's where I was going, David. I have heard she is a super fan. I've heard she loves the game of Big Brother. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, and here's what's going to be the beauty of that. It's not going to be as known as a Carson. It's not going to be as known as a Todrick. It's not going to be that. So if she can play that close to her chest, it would be a benefit to her moving forward.
I'm also, I forgot about this. She was married, she was partners with Oscar De La Hoya. And so I think it'd be interesting to see if her and Misha bond over anything like that, about, like fighting and that kind of thing. It would just be interesting. She's dated musicians. She's dated, athletes. Was Miss USA and Miss Universe, or succeeded the Miss Universe person. So I just, as Miss USA, I mean. And so she's had so many weird connections that I think on the outside, people are probably going, I don't know if she's really well connected, but I think that's the best kind of connections to have, is when you aren't directly connected with someone, but you can forge those kind of connections based off of the people you do know. So I think that she's kind of like a dark horse in this competition.
Makes sense, like a common interest instead of an expectation, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, any thoughts about Shanna?
I think we kind of covered everything about her. Like, she's definitely one of those question mark players of what she does is anyone's guess, and how successful it will be is anyone's guess.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. So, Matt, go ahead and lead us into your last pick.
Well, I have 3 options. I'm not taking no one because I'm not stupid. So that leaves me with 2. That leaves me with 2 options. And I like my team to be balanced in personalities. So I'm going to take Teddy. And here's why. I don't think she's going to be as annoying as Chris Kattan very well possibly could be. So I think that's a plus for her. I also think with this being an older cast, who her father is could be a good talking point. Because her father is David Mellencamp, the well-known singer, who could, because of this older cast, probably listen to a lot of his songs and could want to know questions about her father. And that could buy her a little bit of time to, find her place in this group. Because, like we've said, it's the people who have the kind of soft connections to people. Like, she's kind of, connected to I'm blanking on names, to Cynthia, because they're both housewives, but they weren't on the same franchise. So it's not a direct connection. And she's, connected to probably Todrick via slight musical connections. There's these small threads you could weave in there that could weave into a bigger story.
Yeah.
And that could keep her around. And she's been described as the more boring housewife by some people, and they're like, why did she get cast? That can be to some people's benefit.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not the person in the drama, that means you're outside of the drama. And who usually gets targeted? It's the drama.
Yeah.
In Big Brother. Because if you're shaking the whole entire house, you're likely to get your ass kicked out of the house.
I also think that because she is she podcasts now. She was actually a leaked name from her podcast co-host, which is interesting. But I just feel like the gift of gab is always something that gives you a little bit of a level up in Big Brother. So maybe some of us are underestimating her social abilities. And you're right, she has a built-in connection with Cynthia, which I think is a really good built-in connection to have. So maybe the two of them get an all women's alliance going or something. So I'm not fully down on her. I just have heard also that she is boring, Matt. So can she connect, use those social skills and connect with people? We'll see.
And I do think it's an important point to say, though, that the people who are saying that she is boring on Housewives have other very strong personalities that they're probably gravitating towards. I don't think the producers of Housewives are like, oh, you're boring. You'd be a perfect balance for this cast.
Right.
So she's got to have some personality, right?
Yeah.
I could be very wrong, but that is just my assumption.
Andrew, any thoughts?
Yeah, so my first thought is I do want to point out the fact that Matt has more blondes on his team than I do. And
there are no more blondes to choose that we know, except for that question mark.
Yeah.
It could be Kellyanne Conway coming on in.
He did have more blondes than I. And but other than that, herself, I do agree with kind of the Matthew. What are you saying about her dad? I think that's going to be a big connecting point. As far as that goes, a good connecting point or a bad, I don't know. I hope that it's the wake up music a couple days. And I think that she will. What I think is going to be interesting about her is going to be, even though I am high on Cynthia, if we get into a housewife kind of situation, she can hide behind Cynthia a little bit, I think. And I think that could set up a little meat shield for her if a housewives duo were to form. I think that she would be the second in that pecking order. And again, this is just based on first impressions, but I think that could be a benefit to her game.
Yeah. All right, so it's my last pick. So I'm trying to decide, do I, Andrew, do I give you Chris Kattan and gamble a little bit? Matt Henning did just say, if you pick the question mark, you're stupid. So I have to always take his opinion into consideration as well here. But I feel very confident about my two picks that I have. So I think I am going to play this third round a little stupid. I think I am going to go with the question mark potential mystery house guest. And Beth, you were just mentioning Kellyanne Conway.
Yeah.
How good of a get would Claudia Conway be for the last house guest?
Claudia is too young to be on.
She is?
Yeah.
She's not 21 yet, so she will not be in the house.
You think they would make a 18 or older exception?
No, not with this group. No.
Because she was on American Idol.
Yeah, but you don't have to live in a house with booze.
That's true. That's true. No, I just meant she has reality TV experience.
It's true. I think they have to wait until she's 21 in order to be in a house with liquor.
Okay.
And I can't see this house being okay, we're all okay with no booze.
Unless your name is Danielle Donato, then you can
exactly.
enter the house.
There has been two exceptions where there's been 21 or younger, or younger than 21, I should say, in the house. So it's Danny and Holly from Big Brother 4, I think.
And how old is Claudia? Because she's still at home, so I don't even know if she's 18. I think she might be 16 or 17.
Let me check, but she's 17.
The fact that she was trying to get Child Protective Services called, so I'm just putting that out there. Which is my point. If they ever do actually bring in Kellyanne Conway, that's fucked up. That is fucked up. And I don't care politically what you're thinking. She's her daughter is literally my mother is abusing me and nobody will do anything about it. And she has video clips of proof and she's putting it all online and nothing's happening. So that would be fucked up if they put her in the house.
I was thinking more along the lines
CBS
of.
way.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of maybe this 12th house guest could be somebody that the TikTok generation would really love to see in the house. Like what if Dixie, or no, not Dixie, Charlie D'Amelio, whatever her name is. What if like the big like TikTok people could be one of these last house guys? I don't know, but either way, like I think that I'm kind of subscribing to the theory here that there could be 12 house guests. So
here's what I'll say, Tyler.
It would have to be a woman. It might be New York.
It could be New York.
If there is a 12th house guest, it's a great pick, because for there to be a 12th house guest, it would have to make sense as to why they're not currently revealed in the cast. Therefore, that makes me think it is a reality TV super Boston Rob or a Big Brother alum, or it makes me think that it is a CBB alum in some form of twist coming into the 12th spot. So if it is true, it's a gamble that if it is there, I think you've got a great player. And if it's not, you don't.
I agree with what Caitlin has said in the chat. It has to definitely be a woman in order for the gender balance to be there. As we only have 5 women. So it would be a woman that would be coming in. So I agree with Andrew that you'd be probably looking at a woman of color. You'd probably be looking at someone big. So that's why I kind of wonder if it would be like a New York. But I wonder why they wouldn't just put New York on the cast then. So I agree with Andrew that it's got to be like an alum coming back. Or someone
unless
from
they're
Survivor.
With she's previously played Celebrity Big Brother,
right?
It also could be something along the lines of like we can't get their like COVID results till like very last minute, so we're like not even going to announce them till we know for sure, type of thing.
I mean, so it's it's here. It's going to be the same thing when Paul re-entered the house, but instead of friendship bracelets, she's going to give away Flavor Flav's clock.
Oh,
I would be all here for that. And if she spits on somebody in the process, that's a good callback as well. No. So
I hope she's not it. I'm gonna go on record. I'm one of the few people. She's a transphobic piece of shit, and I don't want her on television anymore.
Yeah, I've heard some. I didn't.
And
know
she
that
doubled down on her transphobia with more transphobia, and it was like on television and then afterwards. And she's like, I don't even give a shit.
Now there's one more person that I've heard rumored, and could quasi fit what you're asking for, and that's DJ Shangela.
Okay,
because that rumor was floating around
that
they were going after a drag queen. That they were going after that a drag queen was being pursued after Courtney Act did CBB UK, and did
that's a good idea too.
Did she win? She won.
Yeah,
she won. Yeah,
she won.
It was her versus Ann Whitcomb,
Ann
which
Whitcomb
was the most amazing thing in the world because Ann Whitcomb was like
the opposite.
Yeah.
So that would be another POC in the house. Yes, it would be someone who is biologically male, but
they want her to enter in the box. Hallelujah, ladies! That's how they're gonna do it. Shangela comes in, season 3 style, out of the box. Hallelujah!
Or it could be Robin Cass, or it could be Allison. Who knows? But I'm willing
to know it all, and Tyler's down to 2, and that makes me happy.
It could be Sandra Diaz Twine.
That would be very cool. But
there's 2 seasons going on at the same time.
But Matt, to your point, like even if there is not a 12th house guest, I still feel very good about my team. So I don't feel that the last person, what's his name, Chris Kattan, is going to win. Sorry, Andrew.
Don't. Okay, so we go back down Andrew's musical journey here.
So go ahead and segue to our last pick here.
Is it this?
And there's a lot of things that have to do with music, and one of them is dance. And I am not known for dancing well, but if there is one move I can pull off, it is that. And because he has the skill to pull off that dance move, he has the skill to dance his way to a victory in the Celebrity Big Brother house. So I am more than happy to welcome Mr. Kattan to my team, and rounds out a beautiful group of, might I say, all men with no blonde hair representing Team Andrew this season.
when we talked about diversity standards in reality show television, this is what we're talking about.
It started with Andrew's draft.
It started with Andrew drafting.
And my musical journey that brought us here.
That was
yes.
great. I have really mixed feelings about Chris Kattan. He's one of my favorite people on this cast. I love Chris Kattan. I loved watching all of him on SNL. I loved like the movies he did based off SNL stuff. Like I get that. But I think he's a really sarcastic, dry person. And I'm like, whereas Carson's a very dry, sarcastic person, but it's like witty in like a smile, charismatic kind of way. I don't think Chris Kattan, I think Chris Kattan is more biting, and I'm worried about the social dynamic he'll be able to bring into the house. That's what I'm worried with him at.
Two words. Tom Green.
I don't know if those are the two words I would invoke here.
Yeah.
I'm now going to quote a Drag Race course, and it's from Tatiana. I've heard of choices, but
that's a choice.
Was a choice.
I think Tom Green's humor came through. He was liked for a good part of the season. He was a mid-boot, but I don't think he was hated.
I don't think he's going to be hated.
But I think there are a lot better personalities in here, especially on the humor front, who could... I just don't... I see Chris... Is he the oldest person in the house at 54?
He might be. There's like 53, 52, that kind of range. So it's not like he's a lot older.
Right, no, yeah.
Todd Bridges is the
opposite of how he usually is.
Oh, okay. Todd Bridges is older.
Todd Bridges is older. I just don't see his personality meshing with any of the people who aren't in their 50s.
I don't know.
I literally don't know who this
with. You don't know Chris Kattan?
No, I'm like looking at pictures of him, and I'm like,
did you just not watch SNL?
No, I really don't watch too much SNL.
Really, and I know who Chris
never
Kattan
watched
is.
Night at the Roxbury?
That's what.
No.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
I know that, but like I didn't know that was this guy.
That's him. That's him and Will Ferrell.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it started off as a sketch on SNL where they would just be these two guys dressed in like these like velour suits basically, and just like kind of dancing. They had no social skills. They'd see a girl and they both go up on either side of her and go like that, and then they go no, and then they sit back and go okay, and then just do this. And he also had another character that he was famous for on SNL doing sketches with called Mango. And if he comes into the SNL house as Mango, that will be one of the worst and best television moments simultaneously in one.
I'd also love to see him come in as Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Peepers! Just do that kind of shit.
I have no idea who any of these people are, but
he's also known for playing gay Hitler.
Yes, he should probably not enter the house as gay Hitler.
That's also a choice.
I believe my quote stands. I've heard of choices. That's a choice.
Exactly.
I will say this. Drag Race judges have been on 3 different installments now. We've had Ross Matthews, now Carson Cressley. Michelle Visage did very well in Celebrity Brother UK. When are we going to get a drag queen? When are we going to do that?
I really thought it was going to be this year.
I thought we were getting
There were so many. Yeah. Shangela would have been a great choice. Bob the drag queen would have been. You know who wants to be on, who actively said they wanted to be on? Jeremy Carey has put it out into the universe. I would love to be on Celebrity Big Brother. You don't want Fifi O'Hara, formerly known as Fifi O'Hara, on your television again, people? Like, come on. There's so many people. We knew Bianca Del Rio wasn't going to do this. She's doing Jamie.
Yeah, it's all about Jamie.
It's all about Jamie in LA right now. We knew she wouldn't go on, but there's so many amazingly huge personalities.
Is she in LA?
She's in LA, but it's opening up like next week, and she's on.
She could do a 1-week appearance and then go.
No, they're hoping to bring it to Broadway. She's not going to leave that. She wants to come back to Broadway.
Well, who knows? Could be the question mark.
Could you imagine if it is Bianca Del Rio? Just like, fuck you guys.
I would be so happy because she's the one who won our fantasy brand steal. So
that would be amazing.
You never know.
I mean, I definitely think a drag queen, because Courtney won CBB UK.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they can do it.
Right. That's very true.
I just think it would be a good representation.
And I know for a fact, too, that Celebrity Big Brother UK, before the pandemic, had been reaching out to quite a few drag queens and trying to get them on. And I know a few of them that were far along in the process and were probably going to be on, then they canceled it because of COVID. So I think it's definitely...
Were they thinking about bringing back CBB UK? Because last I heard
about it,
they had ended it after Courtney's win.
They did, and then they were thinking about bringing it back. They were far along in the process, and then COVID happened, and that dashed any dream of bringing it back. So, like,
I didn't hear any of that when I was in the UK.
No, it wasn't well known. I just know it from the people who were approached, if that makes sense. So that's what I think is interesting. Like, there's a lot of, and there were multiple people that I know of who were reached out to for that, and like, it's such a missed opportunity for a few reasons. I mean, there's few people that you could put on like Courtney Act who are as eloquent and articulate as she is and was on that show, with talking about gender identity and sexual identity, as well as like doing drag and all that kind of stuff. And part of that is because Courtney is not just a drag queen. If anything, I don't even know if Courtney considers herself a drag queen, because she's non-binary, gender fluid. So some days she's Courtney and some days she's Shane. And so I think that was really interesting for people to watch. But I think a drag queen, come on, like that would be so good.
Like Crystal Method,
right? Yeah. That'd be so good.
That would be.
We'll see. Who knows? But any last thoughts on Chris Kattan before I read off Allison's final 3 prediction?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Allison's final 3 is Chris Kirkpatrick, Lamar Odom, and Todd Bridges as the winner.
Completely missed Matt's team, but the 3 rest of us got one.
That means I win again. That means I win.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
You should make a specialty, like, small thing down at the bottom that has Allison's 3 picks. It's like, she wasn't a part of the draft, but we have her picks for the season on
okay. No, you can just do that as, because in Allison's normal capacity, 11th, 10th, and 9th place, right? Like,
yeah. Perfect.
I as much as I adore Allison, that's Allison playing to her generation and hoping for a more mature winner.
Yeah. I don't think you did call Lamar Odom her generation.
He's closer than a lot of these people to Allison's generation.
True.
I do love Dolores L's comment. CBS can't handle drag. They're barely getting used to POC. Give it time and it'll happen.
Yeah. CBS can handle it because they're under the Paramount banner, which now has a drag race.
Viacom and CBS.
That's true. All right. So if you guys have been chatting along with us all throughout this draft, thank you guys for tuning in. And
you mentioned that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only seeing 5 POC.
Right, that's the thing. So like
that breaks the rule.
Exactly. That's like another reason that like the 12th spot could be somebody like a person of color that they haven't announced.
Because that is a true CBS. I mean, unless there's some celebrity doesn't apply. I mean, the rule.
There's 6 POCs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mirai, Lamar, Todrick, Todd, and
Cynthia.
That's 6.
That's 5.
Lamar, Mirai, Cynthia. I'm seeing double then. Well, and 5 would also work because it's almost half of the cast. If it's 11% cast, 5 works.
50%.
But you can't do a 50% with 11 people.
So go over, not under.
Yeah, 100. To me,
I agree.
That says everything to go under, not over, right? That shows that we're just hitting a benchmark and we're quitting at a benchmark.
We almost got there. Like that's what they would say. I
hope Tamar comes back. That'd be great.
Cool. I would be down for that.
It's a possibility. I could see.
I love that idea. Actually,
going on with what I said earlier about it has to be something that makes sense in a twist.
Mm-hmm.
Tamar makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We'll see. But if you guys have watched this, definitely leave a comment saying who you think has the
It's a
best
Kardashian.
What Kardashian?
It's celebrity Big Brother exes.
It would just be Rob Kardashian at this point.
Hey, what if they had Adrian Balon?
It's all of them, and they switch out weeks.
Yeah, it's the new twin twist.
It's the twin twist, but it's every Kardashian. They have to see if they can tell the difference between Kim and Kourtney.
If you wanted to do a twin twist, you could do Tia and Tamara.
That would be fucking cool. Tia and
Tamara would be really cool.
Lowry, yes.
Matt,
yes.
Please submit your application to be a producer. Yeah.
They were both associated with reality people in some extent of the word.
I love this idea.
I love this idea so much. Okay, if you are listening to this, you need to say Matthew Henning had the best idea at CBS, at Big Brother, at Julie Chen. Say, dear Julie Chen, I was praying and the prophet Matthew Henning came to me and gave me a brilliant idea for Celebrity Big Brother. I know it's really late, but can we get it going? Kate, thanks. Bye.
And
then I would get 2 people in my draft extra.
her response would be, the good Lord has spoken to me and said that Matthew Henning's idea was great, but it needed a little tweaking. So here is your twin twist. And Liz and Julia Nolan would walk through the door.
Oh, no.
They are famous because of OnlyFans now.
Oh, no.
Austin is like
but then that would be, but see, the problem with that is they're white. We're going
but God spoke. But God spoke.
But they're children of God, so it's okay.
All
right. Well, children of God
is a POC because they're all children of God. So that's how Julie will
exactly
smooth things out.
Somebody's saying the Olsen twins. Please, no, thank you.
I will say I have heard, and I don't know how factual any of this is.
Okay.
But because it is Celebrity Big Brother, at some point during this season, they have a plan of some form. I don't know if it's with a challenge or something, but I've heard that there will be a tribute to Betty White, Bob Saget, and some fallen people within the season. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's comp. I don't know if it's strictly rumor, but I've heard that because of the big celebrities, and it's been a big year for that. I think that this season I've heard that that's a possibility.
I had also heard rumors.
I love that.
I had heard rumors before her passing that they wanted to get Betty White.
No way in heck.
That would never have happened. That Cloris Leachman was supposed to do it, and then they decided not to because she was too old. And Cloris Leachman's like 10 years younger than what Betty White was.
Betty White is Betty White. If they could have gotten her on, it would have been ratings gold.
If Jerry can fall in the pool in Big Brother 10, anything can happen.
You're supposed to just give Betty White a diet of hot dogs and vodka.
She plays as Sam's robot,
and she would have been able to get through the season.
I would love to hear Betty White go, "You're going home."
She plays as the robot. The robot is Betty White.
Oh no! It all comes back to Sam in Big Brother 20. It always does.
Oh God.
On that note, if you enjoyed tonight's podcast, check us out on Patreon.
It's inappropriate.
You better not. Patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. So we'll be back next time to talk about the
also Tyler, get your Apple Podcast plugin, get your Spotify plugin.
Oh yes. Join us on subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and leave us a 5-star review. Just saying that you love us and our show helps us with the whole algorithm biz. So we'll be back here after the live premiere of Celebrity Big Brother 3, and can't wait to see. I'm also going to tweet out the draft to maybe get a poll to see what people are thinking who has the best team. So we'll see. But any last thoughts about the season before we sign off?
No, I'm excited.
Let's give winner picks. Let's do it.
Like a one winner pick?
A one winner pick. Doesn't have to be on your team. Your one winner pick.
I think it's Mirai. I will go with her.
I'm going to go Shanna Mokler because I have to do a blonde at some point.
There you go.
You can't be hyping up the entire time that you never chose a blonde, and then at the 11th hour.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna agree with Allison, and I'm gonna go Todd Bridges.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I am gonna say Carson. One of my.
I'm just looking for someone who can fit the middle ground the best. I will go with Cynthia.
I like that we chose different people. That's great.
Yeah, me too.
Fit in that kind of middle ground. Because I have a feeling based off the previous couple seasons, the people who are likely to be out front early are going to get sniped quicker.
Yeah. Like a Todrick.
And I think
really
the middle ground
happen
is where you want to be this season.
What's fun about a celebrity season is they're always nervous about cancel culture.
Mm-hmm. True.
I honestly think Carson and Todrick are not going to work together.
Oh, no.
Not because Todrick doesn't want to, but because Carson doesn't want to. And I think that is going to be the beginning of Todrick's downfall.
I love that.
I think I would love Carson to win first HOH and put Todrick up and see his reaction.
I would so look forward to season 15. Oh my God. When they bring Todrick back to be a choreographer and they put Carson right up on the judges table and go, all right, have at it. It'd be so good.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Have a great night. Stay warm, stay safe in the nor'easter, all that fun stuff. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.